Now, let us see the town's trade and finance of the 18th century, which got developed after industrial revolution. First of all, we will see the towns which got benefit from industrial revolution. Which all towns got the benefit of industrial revolution, which got benefit from the massive scale of industrialization. So if you take 19 European, Europe was the continent which got the maximum benefits, profits out of industrial revolution, since industrial revolution started in Britain, which is a European country. So if you take 19 European cities whose the population doubled between 1715 and 1800, and among those 19 cities, 11 cities were in Britain. Britain, a small country, and their 11 countries' population got doubled between 1750 and 1800 within a short span of 50 years. Okay. Within a short span of 15 years, you can see the population got doubled. And largest of the cities which got the benefit from industrial revolution was London. It was the hub of industrial revolution, hub of industrial activities, a lot of markets, etc. Now let us see which all factors benefited London, or how it got the global significance, worldwide reputation. So by the 18th century, after the industrial revolution getting started, the Mediterranean ports, that is the ports which existed near Mediterranean Sea, that is Italy and France, they lost their importance because Britain was growing rapidly. Britain was growing very fast. Because of that, the Mediterranean ports of Italy and France, they lost its importance. And the Holland and British ports were getting lot of benefit. And again, in the beginning, Amsterdam, which is a place in Holland or Netherlands, got lot of benefit as it was the center of loans. That is, the money lenders or banks in Amsterdam used to give loans for undertaking trade. But as the London was growing very fast, growing rapidly, people depended on London. Now London became the source of loans, or London became the source of funds. So people started coming to London. They started taking loans from London banks and the merchants and London became a triangular trade between among England, Africa, and West Indies. Okay, so from England, goods were taken to Africa and to the West Indies, which were the least developed countries. Okay, that is to the colonies. West Indies, colonies of the European country, and Africa also had colonies of European countries. So goods were taken from from England to Africa to the West Indies. And companies, the trading companies in America and Asia, everybody had their office in London. And another factors which became easy for the English towns were the good network of rivers. Water transport was highly developed. So there was connection between markets. From one market to another, it became easy to carry the goods and services. Then they had indented coastline, that is, they had zigzag coastline. Then they had sheltered bays. Sheltered bays means the area was least affected by storm, the area which was least affected by wind, etc. So waterways, as you all know, cheapest mode of transportation, faster than land, and they had a very well developed water system. Because of that, majority areas were covered with the water system. So it became easy for them to carry goods from one place to another. Now, with these, with the help of these rivers, they took the goods to the port and they loaded the ships with all these goods. And the ships which carried these cargoes were known as coasters. Okay, the ships which carried these goods were known as coasters. So almost 1 lakh soldiers were working in those coasters because their navy was efficient, very much efficient. So we are learning towns, trade and finance. So first we were dealing with towns. European towns were highly developed. Among 19 towns in Europe, 11 were in Britain. And among these 11 towns, London became the center of all economic activities. In the beginning of the 18th century, Italy and France got the benefit of trade, got advantages of trade, but afterwards its place were taken by the ports of Holland and Britain. And Amsterdam in Netherlands was the source of loans. They were providing loans, but again London replaced Amsterdam. It became the center of triangular trade among England, France and West Indies. And for the trade among towns, we studied that towns of Holland, Britain got benefit. Now if you take the trade, London again became the center of trade. It conducted trade among England, Africa and West Indies. Okay, a triangular trade existed among England, Africa and West Indies. That is, England produced a lot of goods, sent goods to Africa and West Indies. And almost all the companies, trading companies which were doing trading, had offices in London. And in England, the movement of goods and services became very, very easy. Why it became easy? Because they had a lot of rivers, a lot of canals. Then they had intended coastline. Intended coastline means zigzag coastlines so that the ships can easily have a shelter. They can come easily. Then they had sheltered bay. That means that area was not affected by wind or storms, etc. Since they had a lot of canals, lot of rivers, they depended upon waterways. Waterways were very cheaper and very faster than land. So they took goods and services from nook and corner of the country. Then they loaded the ships with these goods and services. And the ships which carried these goods were known as coasters. Now let us see the commerce in England. As I told you, London became the hub of all the economic activities, and the bank which contributed for the economic activities was the Bank of England. And by 1784, more than 100 provincial banks were there. So provincial banks means India is divided into various states. In that way, England was divided into various parts known as provinces. So each province had more than 100 banks in the year 1784. And in the next 10 years, their number got trebled. That means increased manifold. Many banks came. And London alone by 1820 had more than 600 banks. Okay, more than 600 banks you can see there. Okay, that is more than 600 banks in the provinces, sorry, and over 100 banks in London alone. Okay, over 100 banks in London. That city alone had 100 banks. So you can see how developed these banking systems were. So that was about commerce. So towns, London, towns in Holland and Britain were very much famous. And among the towns in Britain, London became the hub of economic activities, then trade. For carrying goods and services, waterways were highly developed, became easy for them to carry the goods and services. And goods were carried in a ship called coasters. Then again, many other factors which contributed the industrialization, that is, the trade was developed, commerce was developed, towns were developed. And other factors which helped in the growth of industries were the cheap labor. From where they got cheap labor? Due to migration from villages to towns. Then cheap credit, which banks provided them. Banks gave them loans and a good transportation network. So these three factors contributed a lot and lot in the development of industrial revolution. Because of that, they had a bumper production. Okay, so next pages we will be studying about the technological changes, inventions which were made or which contributed in the industrial revolution or which helped in industrial production, construction of railways, new technologies, new inventions, etc. For now, it's finished. Today's portion is finished, and thank you.